we are still getting reports from the ground of a drone strike on Kuwait's Finance Ministry. Now, Iranian drones are said to have targeted the government complex in Kuwait City, causing significant damage. Let me also, in fact, rope in to this discussion Shruti Das Gupta. Thank you so much, ma'am, for your time. Ma'am, obviously, like I was discussing with the general, this war started off with the US and Israel thinking that this will be over in a quick few weeks. We are now 2 months into the war. We are looking at, US, in fact, trying to break all hell loose on Iran in the next 48 hours if they do not come to the negotiating table. Iran does not seem to, relent. The general pointed out that there seems to be some connection that we need to make sure about Russia, about China, about North Korea, and how Iran has still been able to defend itself even after so long, because people and experts are in fact stating that their munitions will run out. But they do not seem to be running out. The barrage might have, downed in intensity, but it is still going on. We are still seeing attacks on Kuwait. We are still seeing attacks in Bahrain, in Jordan, in various areas where Iran is still targeting everything that they can with all their might.
Good morning to you and your viewers, and General Sudhakar ji as well. What I do understand from all of this is that they did miss the intensity with which Iran was prepared to retaliate in any form of military deterrence to complete takeover of their assets. They assumed that because of the 12-day war last year, they had depleted Iran's ability to counter any movement made by USA or Israel. They tried to use the social justice angle to try and do a regime change in their region, which was completely unsuccessful. I do understand that all is not well in Iran, but just because there is oil in the well, it ends up being a very lucrative place for US interests, and US is going there not for the justice of people, and Israel is going there for its own existential crisis. It has grounds for wanting to decimate Iran completely and try and wipe out as much of the clergy, as much of the regime that controls the non-state actors. I believe there are at least 12, 3 of the major ones, and then Badr and other ones, which are smaller non-state actors, which find funding and commonality and sustenance from Iran. So I know Israel needs to kind of pull Iran down, and they are taking heavy hits themselves. Last week, all we saw was even the small barrages that Iran is managing to release is completely overpowering the air defense systems of all the other Gulf nations, including Israel, and they are hitting marks. They are causing damage, whether it is in life or whether it is in infrastructure. So while you're hitting the nuclear power sites of Iran, while you're hitting the petrochemical sites of Iran, and you're ensuring, and the desalination plants, US and Israel are committing what actually constitutes as international crime, war crime. But in their efforts to try and show dominance and kind of put enough pressure on Iran to stop their attacks, they are unable to calculate exactly the ideology that is driving Iran to continue fighting, even if it is just 3 missiles at a time. So they have misjudged it. They may be getting the military targets right, their military objectives right, of hitting Bandar al-Abbas and all the other big names on their list, but they are not able to kind of pull Iran out of its aggressive mode of reaction. They're not proactively going after any target, but with every volley that Israel tries to hit it with and US tries to hit it with, they're coming back with 2 more volleys back. And not just at Israel, this is a 2-pronged attack. Israel gets it, and along with it, another GCC country. So the strategic objective for Iran in this entire war is very simple. They are making it very expensive for US to claim the victory, and they are making it very expensive for the Gulf countries to host US and US interests, whether it is in the form of data centers, whether it is in the form of oil companies, whether it is in the form of critical mines. They are ensuring that the value of assets becomes so high for US that they will be unable to continue their hold in the Gulf nations. So in terms of strategic victory, even if Iran kind of becomes a very as Higgs had said, goes into almost back to Stone Age's era in terms of access to resources that its own land has, uh, they would have achieved bigger strategic success because they would have decimated and costed hugely to USA, Israel, and Gulf nations. And that is just one nation fighting against so many and billions of worth of assets. So they did miscalculate, and they are paying a price for it, no matter what Donald Trump goes. Because if you hear his last speech, within a difference of 7 minutes, first he says there is a change of the regime change was never his goal, although it was a stated goal when the war/excursion began. And in 7 minutes later, he says we managed to do a regime change, and regime change was our goal, and we finished it. So the man is delusional, is kind of trying to put up a brave front. His popularity is down, is sinking. He's asked for trillions of dollars in defense budgets, and as a result, generals are being fired for no particular reason, just because they're telling him the truth of how badly they calculated this war and this smash and grab operation that they thought they had in hand.
Absolutely. In fact,